Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, former President Donald Trump campaigns out west while Vice President Kamala Harris visits the battleground state of Pennsylvania. Plus, 2 people are dead after a shooting in Virginia.
And we're seeing a little bit of cloud cover out there at this hour, and temperatures right now are in the 70s and 80s. How long will this warming trend last? Details in a few minutes.
Dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Former President Donald Trump defended some of his more recent controversial decisions during a news conference in California. That was before heading to the battleground state of Nevada for a rally this evening. Meanwhile, Vice President Kamala Harris is reaching out to voters in Pennsylvania. CBS's Natalie Brand has more from the White House.
Speaking at his Los Angeles golf club, former President Donald Trump says he will not debate Vice President Kamala Harris again. Reporters also pressed Trump on doubling down on his false assertion that migrants in Springfield, Ohio are abducting and eating people's pets. City officials say there's no evidence.
I can say this, we will do large deportations from Springfield, Ohio.
And he defended traveling with Laura Loomer, the far-right social media activist who posted a racist comment about Vice President Harris's Indian heritage.
I can't tell Laura what to do. Laura's a supporter. I have a lot of supporters. But I don't know what exactly.
Mr. President. Republicans on Capitol Hill, from Marjorie Taylor Greene to Tom Tillis, have come out against Loomer. Senator Tillis calling her, quote, a crazy conspiracy theorist who regularly utters disgusting garbage intended to divide Republicans. The Harris campaign has been trying to win over disillusioned Republicans nationwide. Today, the vice president is campaigning in the battleground state of Pennsylvania, in parts of the state that traditionally vote Republican. Harris's running mate, Governor Tim Walz, campaigning in battleground Michigan, alluded to the strategy behind making an appeal to the middle.
We know, and all of you in this room know better than anybody, this is going to be a margin of error election.
Some states will begin early voting this month, with most states offering the ability to vote either in person or by mail ahead of November 5th. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Early voting is already underway in Alabama, with more states to follow soon. Pope Francis has slammed both presidential candidates for what he calls anti-life policies on abortion and migration. The Pope, who has been on a 4-nation tour through Asia, said, quote, both are against life, be it the one who kicks out migrants or be it the one who kills babies, end quote. The Pope also advised American Catholics to choose who they think is the lesser of the 2 evils in the upcoming election. A new CNN poll looked at confidence in the election process in 6 key battleground states. It found 2/3 or more of likely voters say they are at least somewhat confident that votes will be cast and counted accurately. Wisconsin was the only state where a majority said they were very confident about the accuracy of their state's voting process. Broken down by candidates, 71% of Kamala Harris's supporters across the state say they are confident in the process. If you had a student loan through Sallie Mae, now known as Navient, you might be entitled to compensation. The Biden administration has ordered the company to pay $120 million for illegal loan practices. WYMT Washington correspondent Brendan Cullerton spoke with the director of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau.
The Biden administration says Sallie Mae, now Navient, has been steering those with federal student loans into costly repayment options for years. Now, the government is ordering the company to pay those students back. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says Navient took advantage of its contract with the government and did not act in students' best interest.
Navient routinely steered people into plans that made them money and to get them off the phone as quickly as possible. That costs student loan borrowers so much money.
The CFPB sued Navient in 2017 when the company was the largest student loan servicer in the United States. The company recently reached a settlement that includes restitution and a permanent ban from servicing federal direct loans.
In many ways, they turned into a monster, becoming a profitable engine often when students defaulted on their student loans.
CFPB Director Rohit Chopra says it's possible Navient was not the only bad actor in student loans.
We are worried that others in the student loan servicing industry are not fessing up to borrowers about their options to avoid default.
Chopra says eventually victims will receive checks from the company, even if their loan came years ago from Sallie Mae.
A decade of loans. So we expect people across the country, potentially hundreds of thousands of people, to benefit from this.
The settlement still needs to be approved by the federal court where the original lawsuit was filed. Anyone expecting a check from Navient can monitor the situation on the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau's website. In Washington, I'm Brendan Cullerton.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin has made improving the quality of life for the men and women in the U.S. military a top priority. His Taking Care of Our People initiative supports not only more than 2 million service members, but more than 2.6 million family members as well. Speaking with service members, the Secretary found higher pay as a top concern, as well as child care, health care, and support for military spouses.
We focused on things like enhancing economic security, also supporting our military spouse careers, and strengthening our families.
The U.S. military is the nation's largest single employer. President Biden is signaling new openness in allowing Ukraine to fire missiles provided by the West on targets deep inside Russia. The president plans to discuss the matter with new British Prime Minister Keir Starmer at the White House today. Ahead of the meeting, U.S. officials said Biden is not expected to immediately sign off on allowing U.S.-provided Army tactical missile systems to be launched on targets inside Russia, far from the Ukrainian border.
We're seeing a lot of cloud cover out there and temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. A couple places seeing temperatures in the 80s. There's the latest right now on Buffalo Mountain. You can see the cloud deck just thick across portions of eastern Kentucky, and we find temperatures again in the 70s, even low 80s. 80 in Prestonsburg, 82 Harlan, Middlesboro's at 83, 81 in Williamsburg as well as Somerset. Go to London, 79 degrees, 70 is the current temperature in Moorhead as well as Logan. And if you take a look at Logan, Logan is actually 11 degrees cooler than 24 hours ago, 9 degrees cooler in Moorhead, but from Pikeville to Monticello to Jacksboro, we're substantially warmer than this time yesterday. So here's live pinpoint Doppler radar, and you're noticing that line of showers pushing through over towards Moorhead as well as Louisa. Stray shower just to the east of Middlesboro. We are seeing a little bit of lightning being picked up on the radar scan. You can see how it's taking that south to northwesterly approach. So this is something we'll monitor as we go throughout the evening and overnight hours. The next 12 hours keeps us partly cloudy. Temperatures around 74 by 10 o'clock. 2 a.m. will go to 69. 6 a.m. will go to 68 degrees. When you wake up in the morning, temperatures in the low to mid 60s will greet you. Now the question is, how's this weekend shaping up? I'll have the answer in the first alert forecast in a few minutes. Steve.
Eric, thanks. 2 people died and 3 more were hurt in a shooting in Suffolk, Virginia last night. Police say 1 man was pronounced dead at the scene. Another died from his injuries at the hospital. The 3 other victims were taken to a hospital for treatment. The severity of their injuries is not known. Police have not released a motive or identified a suspect in the case. 3 people are dead after a crash this morning in Charles County, Maryland. A bus carrying residents at a senior living facility collided with a dump truck. The charter bus lost control, crossed the double yellow line, and hit the dump truck head on. All 3 people on board the senior living facility bus died, including the driver. Maryland State Police say they do not believe impairment was a factor in the crash. Nebraska voters will face competing constitutional initiatives on abortion on the ballot box this November 5th. The state Supreme Court ruled that a proposed amendment to the Nebraska Constitution does not violate its single subject rule. One of the measures would allow women the fundamental right to terminate a pregnancy without any state interference until fetal viability which is around 24 weeks. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, we find out if a device designed to make meal prepping easier and cleaner does what it's supposed to do.
And in the world of weather, we have temperatures in the 80s in the forecast. The question is, what about rain chances? Details in a few minutes. Stay with us.